What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? And welcome back here today to another redraft. And today we are going to be redrafting the 2015 NBA draft. So on my redraft last Sunday, you guys got 2,800 likes. So thank you for that. And I saw two big constructive criticisms you guys told me in the comments. One, you guys wanted to see this on 2K20. So after I talk about the redraft, I put the rookies on the teams I redrafted them to in 2K20. We're going to see how they do. And then also I'm going to be going from 1 to 14 instead of 14 to 1 like I did in the 2016 redraft. So yeah, if you want to see a specific redraft in the next video, let me know which draft I should do in the comment section below. Also, if we can hit 1,000 likes again on a redraft, I would really appreciate that. I'm definitely down on making this a series on the channel. And also let me know in the comments if you disagree with any of these. So without further ado, let's get into the 2015 redraft. So the Minnesota Timberwolves had the #1 overall pick in the 2015 NBA draft, and I'm gonna have them taking who they did select originally, and that is Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns is arguably the best offensive center in the NBA. He's an all-NBA type player, and he's going to be a future MVP candidate one day. He is the highest wins above replacement out of anybody in this draft. Also, highest win shares, highest points per game total, highest rebounds per game total. He is by far the best player from the 2015 draft class so far. And yeah, I'm going to have him staying at the #1 pick with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So with the second pick in the 2015 NBA draft, the LA Lakers took D'Angelo Russell. Now, this isn't who I'm going to have them reselect because the D'Angelo Russell scenario didn't really work out in LA. I have them taking Devin Booker. Now, Devin Booker originally went 13 to the Phoenix Suns, and he's been arguably the second best player in this draft class so far. He's one of the best shooting guards in the NBA already. He's an all-NBA candidate, and he might be a future MVP candidate one day, but I wouldn't go too far to say that already. He's averaged over 20 points per game in his career, shooting 86% from the line, 36% from threes on pretty high volume. So he's been an incredible offensive player, and in 2019-2020 is kind of the first year he's been on a winning team, at least so far in the first 16 games, and he's actually providing somewhat of a good defensive season so far. I wouldn't say it's anything special on the defensive side of the ball, but at least he's caring for once. But yeah, I have the LA Lakers taking Devin Booker with the second pick in the 2015 redraft. So with the third pick, it was the Philadelphia 76ers, and they originally took Jahlil Okafor. Now I'm going to have them take who they originally wanted on draft night, and that is D'Angelo Russell. All the talk leading up to the 2015 draft, it was supposed to go Cat 1, Jahlil Okafor 2, D'Lo 3, and then on draft night, the Lakers kind of surprised a lot of people with going D'Angelo Russell with the second pick, which ended up being the right decision. Now, Russell struggled a little bit in his first 2 years with the Lakers. He didn't show that much improvement from year 2 to year 3 either, because he did have an injury-riddled 2017-2018, but he did break out in the 2018-19 season with the Brooklyn Nets, obviously, which led them up to the statue to go out and get Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. But yeah, he was great for the Nets last year. He was really solid for the Warriors so far this year, but he did get hurt, unfortunately, with a thumb injury. But yeah, he would have been playing with Joel Embiid, and maybe they wouldn't have ended up getting Ben Simmons, who knows. But yeah, I have D'Angelo Russell going to the Sixers at pick 3. Now, funny enough, at pick 4, originally the New York Knicks surprised a lot of people and took Kristaps Porzingis, and I have them reselecting Kristaps Porzingis. So yeah, I do have Kristaps Porzingis going back to the Knicks in the redraft. Now, the reason I didn't have him above like a Devin Booker or D'Angelo Russell is basically because he's had injury problems throughout his first 4 years in the NBA. He didn't play all of last year. He had an injury-riddled 2016-2017, and he didn't play a lot of games in 2017-18 because that's where he tore his ACL. He's one of the more unique players in the NBA. His shot blocking, his defensive ability, his ability to spread the floor on offense. He's a really good power forward that you'd want to have on your team, and I have him going to the Knicks with the redraft at pick 4. Now, here's where a couple busts are going to roll in. At pick 5, the Orlando Magic originally took Mario Hezonja, but I'm going to have them selecting Miles Turner here at pick 5. Miles Turner went pick 11 to the Indiana Pacers out of Texas. Nobody expected him to be this good this quickly. This is now his 5th year in the NBA, and he's proven that he's one of the league's, if not the league's best shot blocker. He's actually shooting a career high 44% from 3 this season on 4 attempts a game, which you love to see from your 6'11 shot blocking, rim protecting center. Maybe the Magic wouldn't be in a little bit of purgatory right now if they actually landed on this 2015 draft pick. And imagine Miles Turner and Jonathan Isaac on the front court. That'd be nasty on the defensive side of the ball. But maybe they wouldn't have taken Isaac because they would have had Gordon and Turner. But yeah, I have Miles Turner jumping up 6 spots from 11 to 5 here, in the Magic taking Miles Turner at 5. Now with pick 6, originally the Sacramento Kings took CauleyStein, sophomore center out of Kentucky, but I have them taking the second highest jump in this video, and that is Montrezl Harrell, who went 32nd to the Houston Rockets. Montrezl Harrell has been developing incredibly each year he's been in the NBA. He's went from 3.5 points a game in his rookie year to 9 points to 11 to 16.5, and now with even Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, he's averaging 19 points a game with the Clippers, and also Lou Will's on that team too. He's amazing in the pick and roll. He's a player that plays with a lot of energy. He's super athletic. He's really good on the defensive end, and I think that the Kings would have definitely panned out a lot better with this Montrezl Harrell pick. Now, maybe he wouldn't have developed like this because, you know, he was okay so far in Houston, and then the Clippers really developed him well for the last 3 seasons. So I don't know if that would have been the same case in Sacramento, but if we're going off what they've been right now, I have Montrezl Harrell going at pick 6. So now this is the biggest jump in this draft. Now at pick 7, the Denver Nuggets took Emmanuel Mudiay, but I'm going to have them taking Josh Richardson, who went 40th overall to the Miami Heat. Josh Richardson is one of the best two-way players in the NBA. I wouldn't say he's like top 5 in that area, but he's a great defensive player and offensive player. He's been improving as a 3-point shooter, and his defense is just one of the best on the perimeter in the NBA. His point per game total is actually the same so far this year than last year, even though he's been playing with now Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Al Horford, and Tobias Harris. Imagine Jamal Murray and Josh Richardson and Nikola Jokic. That would have been a pretty nice quote-unquote big 3 to build around. But yeah, unfortunately the Nuggets did go Emmanuel Mudiay, who I actually wanted my Knicks to take at 4, so I'm not going to make fun of them for that pick at 7. So yeah, I have them taking Josh Richardson in the redraft. So pick 8, the Detroit Pistons probably took the biggest bust in the top 10, and they took Stanley Johnson, but I'm going to have them taking Kelly Oubre Jr. in the redraft. Now, Kelly Oubre Jr. was drafted 15 by the Atlanta Hawks, but he was in that 3-team trade that sent Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Hawks, and then Jerry and Grant picked to the Knicks, and then Oubre Jr. went to the Wizards. Oubre was traded in the middle of the 2018-19 season for Trevor Ariza. Don't really get that trade for the Washington Wizards side of things. But yeah, once he got to Phoenix, he's been playing the best basketball of his career. He was about a 9 to 10 point per game scorer for the Washington Wizards before the trade, and now he's been about a 17 point per game scorer for the Wizards over the last year and a half. Actually, I wouldn't even say it's been a year and a half. It's pretty much been almost a full season in games that he's been playing for the Phoenix Suns. It's been 56 to be exact, but yeah, he's having a really good 2019-20 season. He's had the highest usage he's ever had in Phoenix, way more than he's had in Washington, because obviously he was playing behind Bradley Beal and John Wall. So yeah, the Pistons would have had Kelly Oubre Jr. along with Andre Drummond, which would have been a nice foundation to build around, but unfortunately they did take the biggest bust in the top 10 in Stanley Johnson. So pick 9, the Charlotte Hornets originally turned down a pretty big offer from the Celtics because the Celtics wanted to trade up to get this player that I'm going to have them reselecting, but they turned down all those draft picks to take Frank Kaminsky, but I'm going to have them taking Justice Winslow in the redraft. So Winslow originally went a pick later to the Miami Heat at pick 10, and he's been a lot better than Frank Kaminsky so far in his NBA career. We saw a little bit of point Winslow last year, and unfortunately he got a concussion early in the season this year, so we haven't seen too much of him, but he's a really good perimeter defender. That's mainly his strong suit, is defense. He's a really good ball handler for somebody that is 6'6", and you want him as your point guard. And yeah, he would have been a lot better of a pick than Frank Kaminsky. But yeah, the Hornets really didn't do a good job drafting to build around Kemba Walker. He would have been at least something to help out that Hornets team. And I have the Hornets taking Winslow at 9. So speaking of the Miami Heat, I have them taking Terry Rozier, who originally went 16th by the Celtics, and this is going to be replacing Winslow, who just went pick 9. So Scary Terry has been so far hit or miss in his NBA career. He just got that big contract extension from the Hornets in the offseason, and he's actually been somewhat solid for them this year in bigger minutes. Now in 2017-18, it was his best season so far because Kyrie Irving got hurt. He averaged about 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists a night on 49% shooting, effective field goal wise. But this season in higher volume, he's taking a career high 14 shots a game, and he's averaging 17.5 points, 4.5 assists, 4 rebounds on 50% effective field goal percentage, which is just a tad below average. But yeah, he's been fine so far for the Hornets. I think he would have been a really nice pick for Miami at 10, and they would have developed him because you guys know how good Miami's development staff is. So yeah, they would have lost out on Winslow in the redraft, but they get Rozier, so it's not a huge drop off. So with the 11th pick in the 2015 redraft, the Pacers, they took originally Miles Turner. Now, this is going to be a big drop-off, but they are going to get Larry Nance Jr., who originally went 27th to the LA Lakers. Now, weirdly enough, he is 5th in win shares from this draft, and he is 3rd in wins above replacement. So Larry Nance Jr. has already been traded once in his NBA career. He was traded in 2017-18, where LeBron traded him and Clarkson, where they acquired him and Clarkson, and then they traded Isaiah Thomas to the Lakers. Now, he's been a fine frontcourt guy, and that's kind of why I have him here. He hasn't been awful, but he hasn't been great. He's actually taking more threes a game this year, which is good. He's now up to 3, which is by far career high, and he's shooting 36% of them, so he's somewhat spacing the floor this year. He's a really good rebounder, and he's obviously good inside the paint, but that's mainly what he's only good at shooting the ball, at least. Yeah, obviously this is a huge drop off from Miles Turner, but obviously Turner was going to go a lot higher in the redraft, so the Pacers are going to get Larry Nance Jr. at pick 11. Now at pick 12, the Utah Jazz took Trey Lyles, but he will not be here in the redraft. They're going to get somebody who went top 6, and that was CauleyStein. So yeah, CauleyStein actually had 2 solid years in Sacramento. Basically, the last 2 years he played there, he averaged about 12 points and 7.5 rebounds a night, which is really good. I mean, he was on a losing team at least in 2017-18, but the Kings were a lot better in 18-19, and I'm surprised he didn't get that much money this year, but I guess he hasn't been playing that well from the Warriors, but I definitely think he's a better player than Trey Lyles, because the main thing Trey Lyles is known for is his rebounding, and I would say CauleyStein is just as good as a rebounder, and he's definitely a more efficient scorer inside. CauleyStein has been a pretty positive defensive rim protector in his career. Nothing crazy though, and I have the Jazz taking him at 12 in the redraft. So this is probably going to be the biggest drop off in talent, with the Suns at 13. They originally obviously got Devin Booker, and I have them taking DeLon Wright, who originally went 20th by the Toronto Raptors. DeLon Wright was a fine backup point guard to Kyle Lowry in Toronto, nothing crazy, and then he was traded in that Marc Gasol package midseason last year, and then he signed with Dallas as a restricted free agent in the offseason of 2019. He's been okay with the Dallas Mavericks this year. He was a lot better in his time in Memphis. He's a point guard with quick feet. He's quick. He has good handles. He's a solid passer, nothing crazy. He's mainly a solid backup point guard, nothing more than that. I know Suns fans, it sucks, but in the redraft, Devin Booker was obviously going to go a lot higher. He jumped from 13 to 2, and I have them taking the Suns, DeLon Wright at 13. And with the final pick of the 2015 redraft at pick 14, I have the OKC Thunder selecting Kevon Looney, who originally went 30th by the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, the Thunder drafted a bust here at 14 when they took Cameron Payne, but at least he could dance though. Kevon Looney has been a really good defensive player for the Warriors. Obviously, he was more of a situational guy for them and maybe a better systematic fit than he would be in OKC, but I think he'd be a fine player to get at the end of the lottery. And yeah, definitely a lot better of a player than Cameron Payne has been, or at least was, for the OKC Thunder. Now, some honorable mentions that could have been at pick 14, 13, or 12 that you could have put here: Frank Kaminsky, who originally went 9 by the Hornets; Trey Lyles, who went 12th by the Jazz; Bobby Portis, who went 22nd by the Bulls; Cedi Osman, who went 31 by the T-Wolves but was later traded to the Cavs in exchange for Tyus Jones; Rashawn Holmes, who went 37 by Philadelphia; or Pat Connaughton, who went 41 by the Brooklyn Nets. And then some noticeable guys who didn't make the cut was Joel Okafor, who went 3rd overall; Mario Hezonja, who went 5th; Emmanuel Mudiay, who went 7th; Stanley Johnson, who went 8th; and then Cameron Payne, who went 14th. So yeah, here we are on NBA 2K20. I downloaded a 2015-2016 roster, so I did trade each player to the team I just mentioned in the redraft. So we have Russell on the 76ers, Devin Booker on the Lakers, and Miles Turner on the Magic, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to simulate a season and see maybe if anything changes. They're all going to be rookies, I believe, so we'll check out the rookie report at the end of the year. So at the end of the 2015-16 season, Russ wins MVP. OJ Mayo, yeah, the rookies were messed up, so it's OJ Mayo. Pau Gasol, 6th man of the year in Chicago. Cousins, defensive player of the year in Sacramento. DeLon Wright, most improved. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, he's on the Suns now, so just, I guess, yeah, it's all messed up. But if you want to see kind of like who was good, so OKC was good because obviously instead of Cameron Payne, now they have Kevon Looney, so that helps them out a lot. No Minnesota, no New York, still no Philly, no LA, no Orlando either, or no Sacramento, so none of the top 6 picks are here. No Denver, no Detroit, so yeah, it really didn't change too much. Actually, excuse me, Detroit is here with Kelly Oubre Jr., and they actually did have Tobias Harris at the time, it looks like. So yeah, we'll just simulate. It isn't going to have much, I guess, factor on that, but obviously years later, this would change everything. So let's see who wins the NBA Finals, and it is going to be the Toronto Raptors. Okay, so Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan beat, and Joel Okafor is now on this team too. Interesting. Bismack Biyombo, Terrence Ross, they beat the Rockets. who weren't featured in that video, but they do have Trey Lyles, it looks like. So yeah, that is the 2K portion of it. So yeah, that is gonna be for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the 2015 redraft. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below, and let me know what draft to do next. If we can hit 1,000 likes on this video, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, that is gonna be for me. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.